Good afternoon, students.
Good afternoon.
Switch on your
Good
video.
afternoon, ma'am.
Very good afternoon. Please switch on your videos. Okay,
Ma'am,
students.
I have some network issue.
Okay, then no problem. Those who have facing any network issues, you can switch off it. No problem. So in our morning session, we will discuss about dimensional equations and dimensional formulae. And then we were discussing about some uses of this dimensional equation. Okay. So, Anashwara Johnson, what are the uses of the dimensional equations?
And to check the correctness of the physical relation or equation.
Okay, to check the correctness of a physical equation. Then, second use, Alan Joshi. Only one use for the dimensional equation. Same question to Elaine. What are the other uses of dimensional equation?
To derive the relationship between different physical quantities.
Very good. To derive the relationship between different physical quantities. Then, any other use? Pooja.
Used to find out dimensions of a constant.
It is used to find out the dimension of constant, dimensional formula for or dimensional equations of constant. Okay, then Shabarinath, any other use for our dimensional equation?
Checking the relations.
Yes, it is used to find the
relations.
yes, it is used to check the correctness of equation. It is used to make a relation, deduce the relation between different physical quantities. It is also used to find out the dimensions of the constants, and sometimes we can use this dimensional equation if the formulas or if the equations are forgotten, then we can use this dimensional equation to recollect that formula. Okay, so we can check or we can explain the use of this dimensional equation one by one. Okay, so what is the first use? The first use to check the correctness of an equation. Dimensional equations are used to check the correctness of an equation. So in order to check the correctness of an equation, here we have to follow a principle. That principle is known as principle of homogeneity. So let us see what do you mean by principle of homogeneity, and based on that we can check the correctness of equation. So principle of homogeneity states that an equation is dimensionally correct if the dimensions of the various terms on either side of the equations are the same. This is the principle of homogeneity. So what is principle of homogeneity? An equation is dimensionally correct if the dimensions of the various terms on either side of the equation are the same. So if you get an equation, first of all, you write the dimensions of each term present in that equation. Then check whether these dimensions on either side of the equations are same. Then we can say that that equation is correct. So this is what is actually the principle of homogeneity states. So according to principle of homogeneity, an equation is dimensionally correct if the dimensions of the various terms on either side of the equation are the same. An equation is dimensionally correct if the dimensions of the various terms on either side of the equation are the same. Okay, so let us work out it with the help of an example. Can I change the slide? Yes. Is it not over?
It's over.
Okay. So here we are going to work out an example for this. For example, we can consider force. What is the equation for calculating force? So Simple equation in physics. What is the equation for calculating force? Ma. Force is equal to mass into acceleration. Force or F is equal to M into A. Mass into acceleration. So what are the terms associated with this equation? What are the terms here? One is force. On the LHS, we can say the physical quantity force. And what about in the case of the right hand side? What are the physical quantities are present in the right hand side of the equation?
Mass and acceleration.
Mass and acceleration. Okay. So according to the principle of homogeneity, the dimension of each term on either side of the equation should be the same. So here we are going to write the dimension of each term. So here LHS we have force. What is the dimension of force? Dimensional representation of force. Write the dimension for force.
MLT minus MLT raised to
ML T raised to minus 2, right? ML T raised to minus 2. Then what about the dimension on the right hand side? Here we have mass into acceleration. What is the dimension of mass? M. Dimension of acceleration? L T raised to minus 2. So here we can see the LHS is equal to RHS. That is the dimension of the force, the dimension of the physical quantity force is ml t raised to minus 2. And the combined dimensions of mass and acceleration is ml t raised to minus 2. So the dimensions on both sides of the equations are same. So we can say this equation is correct. Force F is equal to ma. I will give you another example. This is a very simple example. Sometimes it is maybe difficult to understand. I will give you another example, then it is more clear to you. Suppose we can consider the equations of motion. Do you remember the equations of motion that you are already studied in 9th standard? V is equal to U plus AT. V is equal to U plus AT. Okay. Do you remember this equation? What is V represents V? Ah yes, Emmeline, it's right. Unmute and say, what is V?
Velocity.
Which velocity? It is final velocity or initial velocity?
Final velocity.
It is final velocity. Here V represents final velocity. Very good. First of all, we can differentiate each term present in this equation. So here V represents final velocity. What is U represents? U?
Initial velocity.
Very good. U is also velocity, but it is initial velocity. Initial velocity. Then the next term A. What is A represents? A.
Acceleration.
Acceleration. The next term is T. What is T?
Time.
Time. Okay. So here we have an equation. V is equal to U plus AT. This is the velocity time relation in the equation of motion. The first equation of motion. V is equal to U plus AT. We will discuss about these equations of motion in our later class. So you don't need to be worried about it. So here in this equation, V is the final velocity, U is the initial velocity, A is the acceleration, and T is the time. Now we are going to apply the principle of homogeneity in order to check the correctness of equation. According to principle of homogeneity, the dimensions on each terms on either side of the equation should be the same. So first of all, we are going to write the dimension of velocity. Here V is the final velocity. Either it is however, whatever it may be final velocity or initial velocity, it is the velocity itself. So we can represent it in terms of the dimensions of velocity. Okay. So what is the dimension for velocity? V.
LT raised to minus 1.
LT raised to minus 1. Good. The dimension of velocity is LT raised to minus 1 equal to The first term in the equation is initial velocity. Initial velocity. What is the dimension of initial velocity?
LT raised to minus 1.
LT raised to minus 1, because it is the velocity itself. So we can represent it in terms of LT raised to minus 1. Plus, the next term is acceleration. What is acceleration? Dimension for acceleration.
LT raised to minus 2.
Yes, it is LT raised to minus 2. Into here we have one more component, that is T. One more physical quantity, time. How we represent it?
T raised to 1.
Dimension of time is T raised to 1. So this dimension become LT raised to minus 1 equal to LT raised to minus 1 plus, what about the dimension of the second term? T raised to minus 2, T raised to plus 1. It becomes minus 2 plus 1.
T raised to minus
Subtract and gives the sign of the bigger number. So whenever we subtract 2 minus 1, it is 1. Give the sign of the bigger number, it is minus 1. Okay. So our answer become LT raised to minus 1. Now you check whether it is satisfies the principle of homogeneity or not. Here we can see on LHS and RHS, each term is represents the same dimensional formula. LT raised to minus 1. Here also LT raised to minus 1 and LT raised to minus 1. So does it is follows the principle or obeys the principle of homogeneity? Unmute and say.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, here it obeys the principle of homogeneity. So we can say this equation is right. V is equal to U plus AT. So dimensional equation is used to check the correctness of an equation based on a principle. That principle is known as principle of homogeneity. According to principle of homogeneity, the dimensions of each terms on either side of the equations are same, then that equation is correct. So if an equation is said to be correct if and only if the dimension on each side of the equation are same. So here we can see on both sides, on LHS and RHS, it equal to the dimension LT raised to minus 1. Is it clear? Okay. Now I will give you another question. You can work out with the second question. Here the first one is over. Now the second question. S is equal to UT plus half AT square. S is equal to UT plus half AT square. This is also our second equations of motion. This is the displacement time relation in physics. The second equation of motion. First of all, you differentiate each term present in this equation. We are dealing with the second problem. S is equal to UT plus half AT square. Fahis, can you differentiate each term present in this equation? What is S represents?
Speed.
Not speed.
Second.
No, it is an equation. S represents displacement. Okay. S represents displacement. No, sorry. Here S represents the velocity. Okay, okay. This is the displacement time relation. So S represents displacement. Displacement. Sure. What about U? U.
Initial velocity.
Initial velocity. U is the initial velocity. Then T. What is T represents?
Time.
Time. Okay. A, another term is here, A. A is acceleration. Acceleration.
Acceleration.
Yes, acceleration. So here S is equal to ut plus half at square. This is the second equation of motion. That is the displacement time relation. Here the term S is represent the displacement of the moving object. U is the initial velocity, T is the time, and A is the acceleration. Now you can apply the principle of homogeneity in order to check the correctness of equation. S is equal to ut plus half at square. Okay. According to principle of homogeneity, first of all, you want to calculate or find out the dimension on both sides of the equation. Try to find out the dimension on both sides of the equation. Here S is the displacement. U is the initial velocity, T is the time, A acceleration, and again here we have T represents the time. So first of all, you find out the dimension of each of these terms present in this equation. Jyoti, here S represents displacement. What is the dimension of displacement?
L.
L. Very good. L is the dimension of displacement. So we get the dimension of LHS. Now we want to check whether it is satisfied with the dimension of each term present in the RHS. Alentina, what about the dimension of U? U is the initial velocity. What is the dimension of U?
LT raised to -1.
LT raised to -1. Into here we have one more term, that is T. So it becomes T raised to 1. So the first term, the dimension is LT raised to -1 into T raised to 1 plus. What about the dimension of half? Is there any dimension for that number half?
No.
No, because it is a constant. So there is no dimension for the number half. So we don't need to bother about this number. What about the dimension of acceleration? Dia, what is the dimension of acceleration?
Ma'am, LT raised to -2.
LT raised to -2. But here we have one more term, that is T square. What is the dimension of T square?
T.
Dimension of time is T. Dimension of time is T. But here we have two time, that is T into T. So here we have T square. Okay. So we need to modify it. LHS, the dimension of displacement is L. Now in the case of RHS, L T raised to -1 into T raised to 1. That is -1 plus 1. What happens to that time? -1 plus 1. It cancels because this T and this cancels. This T cancels. One is T raised to -1 and other is T raised to +1. So these two times are cancels. So here we have L only. Plus, what about the second case? Here also we have L T raised to -2 and T raised to +2. What happens to this T raised to -2 and T raised to +2? -2 plus 2. That is equal to 0. That is, this t raised to minus 2 and t raised to plus 2 cancels. So we get L only. Does it obeys the principle of homogeneity?
Yes.
It obeys the principle of homogeneity, because according to principle of homogeneity, an equation is said to be correct if the dimension of each term on either side of the equations are same. So here we have the terms like displacement S, and the first term in the equation is ut. The second term in this equation is at square. All these three terms have the same dimension, that is equal to L. L inside the square bracket. So here it obeys the principle of homogeneity. So we can say this equation is right. S is equal to ut plus half at square. It is right. Is it clear? Do you want to explain it once again? Okay. I'm not satisfied with your response, so once again I will explain the same equation here. Here we have an equation, S is equal to ut plus half at square. S is equal to ut plus half at square. Okay, this is our equation. And here we want to check whether this equation is correct or not. That is what we are going to do. So in order to check the equation correct or not, here we have to apply one principle. That principle is known as principle of homogeneity. Then what is principle of homogeneity states? Sarah, what is principle of homogeneity? Can you state the principle of homogeneity? Oh, yes.
An equation. Equation is correct if the dimension of the various terms on either side of the equation are same.
Yes, very good. An equation is said to be correct if the dimensions on each term on both sides of the equations are same. Okay. If the dimensions of each term on either side of the equations are same, then only we can say that this equation is correct. So here we are going to check whether this equation is correct or not. For that, we are going to apply the dimension. So in order to apply the dimension, first of all, you have an idea about each term present in this equation. The first term represents displacement. Here S represents displacement. Okay. So what is the dimension of displacement S? The dimension of displacement S is L. Now it is not in a dimensional form. If and only if you are put it in a square bracket, it represents the dimension of a physical quantity. So L inside the square bracket represents the dimension of displacement. Okay. Now we can check the dimension of the right hand side. The first term is velocity. The dimension of velocity is L t raised to minus 1. The dimension of velocity is L t raised to minus 1. Along with the velocity, here we have time. So this ut together, they are combined, make the first term of the equation. So ut. So it becomes L t raised to minus 1 into t raised to plus 1. Okay. And here we know that t raised to minus 1 and t raised to plus 1 cancels. Minus 1 plus 1 is equal to 0. So the time, the dimension of the time becomes cancels each other. So what is left? The dimension of length only. Now we can move to the second term of the equation, that is half at square. Here half is a number. Since it is a number, it is a constant, and there is no dimension for constant. Okay, so we don't need to bother about the number half. Then what is left? Acceleration and the time square. What is the dimension of acceleration? The dimension of acceleration is L t raised to minus 2. L t raised to minus 2 into, here we have one more physical quantity is there, that is time, t. T 2 times, so we can take it as t square. This is the dimensional representation of time, t square, t into t, t square. Here also we have t raised to minus 2 and t raised to plus 2. So minus 2 plus 2 equal to 0. That is the dimension of that physical quantity time cancels each other. So only the dimension of length is present here. So once again we can write this dimension. The dimension of L is equal to dimension of L plus dimension of L. All the other dimensions of the physical quantities are cancels. So here we have two terms on the right hand side, that is UT. The dimension of UT is L. The second term is half AT square. The dimension of the second term is also L. And it is equal to the dimension of the LHS, that is also equal to L. So according to principle of homogeneity, if the dimensions on either side of the equations are same, then we can say that equation is correct. Is it clear now? Is it clear or not? Say yes or no?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
So that about this equation. Here we have one more equation. One more equation. That is the third equation of motion. The third equation of motion. V square is equal to U square plus 2AS. V square is equal to U square plus 2AS. This is the velocity acceleration relation in physics. The third equation of motion. V square is equal to U square plus 2AS. Okay. First of all, try to differentiate each term in this equation. And Mary, try to find out the each term present in this equation. What is V represents?
Final velocity.
Very good. Final velocity. U.
Initial velocity.
U is the initial velocity. Good. Next, A. 2 is a number, it is a constant. So we don't need to bother about it. A.
is acceleration. and
Acceleration. Okay, then
S is displacement.
very good. S is the displacement. Okay. Here V is the final velocity, U is the initial velocity, A is the acceleration, and S is the displacement. Now apply the principle of homogeneity. Write the dimension of each term present in this equation. Eva, what is the dimension of final velocity V? The dimension of LHS.
Ma'am, it's LT raised to -1, the whole square.
Okay. LT raised to -1, and here we have V square. So LT raised to -1, the whole square. Good. Okay, then next one, Anila. The first term in the RHS is U square, initial velocity, the square. So what is the dimension of the square of initial velocity?
L1 T minus 2.
Okay, or we can write it is the dimension of velocity is LT raised to -1, the whole square. Okay, we can simplify it later. Then the third term is 2AS, 2AS. Tushar. What is the dimension of 2? Tushar, is there any dimension for the number 2? Sanjana. What about the dimension of 2?
Nothing.
No, no dimension for number 2 because it is a constant. Then what about the dimension of acceleration? A. Dimension.
LT raised to minus 2.
LT raised to minus 2. And here we have one more physical quantity, that is displacement.
L.
L. Okay, L. So this is the dimension of the third term. That is L t raised to minus 2, and here the displacement, it is represented by the dimension N. Now we can solve it. Here L t raised to minus 1 the whole square. So you need to take this square inside the bracket. It becomes L square t raised to minus 2. L square t raised to minus 2. Just take this square inside the bracket. So it becomes L square t raised to minus 2 equal to. Add now. What about our LHS become the first term? Here also LT raised to minus 1 the whole square. What is the equation become? LT raised to minus 1 the whole square. Take the square inside the bracket. Roshan Rashid. Unmute and say Abhinav. Buddhadev.
Yes, ma'am.
LT raised to minus 1 the whole square. How we can solve it? It becomes, take the square inside the bracket. So it becomes L square t raised to minus 2. L square t raised to minus 2. So the first term is okay. It is satisfied with our LHS. What about the second term? Here L t raised to minus 2 into L. What is L t raised to minus 2 into L? Anyone?
L square.
L square t raised to minus 2.
L square t raised to minus 2. Right? Does it is satisfies the principle of homogeneity?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, because each term, the dimensions of each term on both sides of the equations are the same. They are L square t raised to minus 2. In the LHS and RHS, each term on the equation is representing the same dimension, that is L square t raised to minus 2. So we can say that it is satisfied the principle of homogeneity, or it is obeys the principle of homogeneity. So we can conclude that the third equation of motion is correct. That is v square is equal to u square plus 2as. That equation is right, because it is obeys the principle of homogeneity. So in order to check whether the equation is correct or not, we need to check whether the equation obeys the principle of homogeneity. If the equation is obeys the principle of homogeneity, then we can conclude that that equation is right. Is it clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Any doubt regarding any step of this equation? Any doubt?
No.
Nimita,
Yes, ma'am.
is there any doubt regarding with this topic?
No, ma'am.
Okay. So in order to check the correctness of an equation, here we use the principle of homogeneity. So apply the principle of homogeneity. According to principle of homogeneity, what is principle of homogeneity? States that the dimensions on each side of the equations are same. Then the equation is said to be correct. Okay. So in order to check the correctness of an equation, here we are applying the or following the principle of homogeneity. Any doubt regarding with this topic, you can ask freely. Nothing. So now we can explain the another use of dimensional equation. Dimensional equation is used to find out the dimension of constants. Dimensional equations are used to find out the dimension of constants. Now we can see how the dimensional equations can be used to find out the dimension of constant. To find out the dimensions of constants. So the dimensional equations are used to find out the dimensions of constant. So now let us see how the dimensional equations are used to find out the dimensions of constant. For that, here I consider an equation. F is equal to the universal law of gravitation. Can you recall the universal law of gravitation? F is equal to yes, G into
M,
yes, mass of the first body,
the mass of the second body,
mass of the second body
by distance of the two.
divided by the square of their distance. Excellent. Very good. So according to the universal law of gravitation, here we have the force between any two objects is directly proportional to product of their masses, and it is inversely proportional to square of their distance between them. That is, F is equal to G into M1 M2 divided by D square. What is F? Can you differentiate each term in this equation? What is F represents? F.
Force.
F is the force. Good. Then what is G?
Gravitational constant.
Very good. G is the gravitational constant. So here we get an idea. The G is a gravitational constant, and here we want to find out the dimension corresponding to this gravitational constant. And what is M1 and M2 represent? M1 and M2?
Mass.
Mass. And D? Distance. So here we have an equation. F is equal to G into M1 M2 divided by D square. Now we are going to find out the dimension of this constant. Okay, the dimension of the constant G. G is the universal gravitational constant. So here we have F is equal to G into M1 M2 divided by D square. We want to calculate the dimension of G. So just rearrange the equation and find an equation for calculating G. G is equal to, what is the equation becomes? G is equal to?
F into D square by M.
Very good. F into D square. Brought this D square to the force. So F D square divided by M1 M2. Okay, G is equal to F D square divided by M1 M2. Or we can write G is equal to, what is the dimension for force? Dimension for force. Shabarinath.
MLT raised to minus 2.
ML T raised to minus 2. Good. What is the dimension of distance square?
L square.
L square. The dimension of distance is L, but here we have distance square. So the dimension of distance square is L square divided by M1 into M2. Both are mass. What is the dimension of mass?
M square.
M. So here we have two mass of the object and mass of the earth, M1 and M2. That is why we can take it as M square. Okay. So ML T raised to minus 2 into L square divided by M square. Here 1 M from the numerator and 1 M from the denominator is cancels. Or here we get G is equal to M L T raised to minus 2 into L square divided by M square. Mass into mass. That is why the dimension of first mass is M, the dimension of second mass is M, so we can take it as M square. One mass from the numerator and one mass from the denominator is cancelled, so we get G is equal to L T raised to minus 2 L square divided by M. Again in the numerator here we have two L terms. L raised to 1 into L square. It becomes L raised L cube. Very good. So L square and L raised to 1 become L cube. So now the equation is L cube T raised to minus 2 divided by M. What is the next step? We want to brought this M from denominator to numerator. So the equation becomes G is equal to, when you brought this m from denominator to numerator, it becomes m raised to
minus
1. Very good. M raised to minus 1, L cube and T raised to minus 2. Okay, m raised to minus 1, L cube and T raised to minus 2. Is it clear? So in this way, we can find out the dimensions for the constant. Okay, dimensions for constants. Now I will give you another example. Do you remember the Ohm's law? Ohm's law. What is Ohm's law? Try to recall the Ohm's law that you are already studied in 10th standard. The very famous equation, also known as triangle law. I will give the statement, then you just try to recall the law. The potential difference across the ends of a conductor is directly proportional to the current flowing through the conductor. Did anyone get the clue? Very good. V is equal to IR. The potential difference is nothing, it is our voltage. The voltage that is passing through a conductor is directly proportional to the current flowing through the conductor. According to the law, we write V is proportional to I. In order to replace this proportionality sign, we introduce a constant. That constant is known as resistance R. V is equal to R into I, or we can write V is equal to IR. Okay, so here what is the constant? R is the constant, and we want to find out the dimension for this constant R. So R is equal to, rearrange the equation, R is equal to
V by I.
V by I. Very good. R is equal to V by I. So here R is the resistance. R is the resistance. What is V? Voltage. V is the voltage. And what is I? Current. Okay. Here R is the resistance, V voltage, and I is the current. So we want to find out the dimension for voltage. So here R is equal to V by I. What is the dimension for voltage? How we can calculate voltage? Voltage is the amount of work done to carry the charge from one point to another point. What is the equation for calculating voltage then?
Work done by time.
Work done by time. Very good. W, not time, work done divided by charge. Because it is the amount of work done to carry the charge Q from one point to another point. That is what is known as potential difference or voltage or electric potential. Voltage is equal to work done divided by charge. What is the dimension for work done?
L square T raised to -2.
Work done, dimension for work done. M L square T raised to -2 divided by, what is the dimension for charge? Dimension for electric charge? Yes?
80.
Yes?
80. 80.
Is it is K?
80. A into T.
K into T.
A into T.
A into T. Okay. A into T. Because I is equal to charge by time, Q by T, which implies Q is equal to IT. The dimension of current is A and time is T. So the dimension of charge is AT. Good. Okay, it's the time. We can discuss the same in our next class. Okay.